Okay, here we go. In my view, let's get the table right here. We got the table. This is not mine. This is not my table. This is not anyone I know. This is not their table either. Just one I found on the internet. But 5 dinner guests, dead or alive, that I would have on my show. It's not just athletes. I do have athletes on this list, plural, more than one athlete. I've got entertainers. I've got people that have led the country. I mean, we've got it all packed into here. And so I'm going to start with my first person I would invite over to my house for dinner. The babyface assassin, the guy who's in the picture behind me, Steph Curry. You can see him in that picture right now. He's hyped. He's ready to go to my house for dinner. One of the things that's interesting about Steph, and one of the reasons I would invite him, is I'm sure a lot of y'all know, his wife is a chef, a great chef at that. She's had shows on Food Network. She's wrote multiple cookbooks. She's got International Smoke, which is a restaurant of hers. There's multiple locations all over the country. And so you have that. So we're going to have some great food. But Steph is a guy who is the life of the party. And one of the constants I have of the 5 people on this list is that, and they're not the only 5 people, but people I feel like I can learn from, people who have had to overcome. And Steph's a guy who's had to overcome a lot. You know, he's the son, and certainly his parents are in the news right now, but that's another story for another day. But he's the son of a former NBA player. Silver spoon upbringing, right? Pretty famous, at least in NBA circles, famous last name. And like his dad, great shooter. But he was kind of skinny, overlooked, went to Davidson. Where's Davidson? And in the tournament that year, he was lights out, got little old Davidson all the way to the Elite 8 in the 2008 March Madness tournament. And so he comes into the NBA, drafted 7th overall by the Golden State Warriors, and he's runner-up for Rookie of the Year in 2010, but then it's ankle injuries and more ankle injuries and more ankle injuries, multiple surgeries that he has, and all of a sudden it's like, is he going to be like Grant Hill 2.0? He overcame that. He overcame this. He's soft because he grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth, right? Overcame that and is the greatest ever at what he does, and that's shooting the basketball. I mean, how many people can say they're the greatest ever, and there's really not much, nobody really disagrees that they're the best ever at what they've done. And for him, it is shooting the basketball. He's a great human being. He's got multiple charities. He's donated nets to Africa to fight fleas, and he's just a great human being. And his wife is also a great human being, and she's a great cook as well. So we'll be getting some great food. Number 2, the second person I would invite to my house for a dinner party, Steve Harvey, the host of Family Feud. He's got his own radio show as well, obviously. Steve Harvey is hilarious. I'm not saying he's the best comedian. He's not Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle or Jerry Seinfeld, but he's hilarious. So you got a guy who's going to make you laugh. Everybody's going to be smiling at the table, right? It's not going to be doom and gloom. He's a guy who could keep a conversation going. He's a radio host, obviously, so he knows how to start a conversation or to continue a conversation. You're talking about a guy who is, started with humble beginnings and has worked himself up to the host of Family Feud, a radio show host. He had his own TV show not that long ago. He's a great motivational speaker, by the way, as well. You need to go on YouTube and watch some of his motivational speeches. They're awesome. But you're talking about a guy who's had to overcome a lot growing up and is doing pretty well right now. And by the way, let's play Family Feud after the dinner's over. And Steve Harvey hosts at my house. That's how we're doing it. Steve Harvey, Steph Curry. Sticking with the S's, apparently the third person on my list, their name starts with an S, and it is Ben Simmons. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not inviting. Ben Simmons is not coming over to my house until he can develop a jump shot. No, in all seriousness, the third person I would invite to my house for dinner is Sigourney Weaver. You're talking about somebody who, like Steph Curry, grew up with pretty well-known parents. Her dad, believe it or not, actually was the president at NBC. He actually founded The Tonight Show, which people still watch to this day. But kind of overlooked, kind of underrated when she was trying to get into the acting business. But yet and still, kept her head down, kept going, has been in some iconic films. In my view, personally, I think she's the greatest actress to never win an Oscar. It's a crime to me that she does not have one, but that's neither here nor there. But she's been in great movies like, iconic movies such as, as Alien, as Avatar. One of my favorites, Ghostbusters. She's great in that movie with Bill Murray. It's amazing. There's actually going to be another Ghostbusters movie this November, I think. So I would invite Sigourney Weaver to my house. Strong woman, and definitely somebody who could carry on a conversation. A very interesting human being. Number 4, the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan. Now, why would I have Michael Jordan over my house, right? I mean, he's pretty rough. You saw The Last Dance. It's not exactly easy on teammates. But you're talking about a guy who loves to win, who wants to win, who will do anything to win. And I would like to, over dinner, kind of pick his brain a little bit. As well as the other guests as well. But kind of pick Michael Jordan's brain a little bit. About what it takes to be the greatest. But what I loved about Michael Jordan is something that was adopted by Kobe Bryant and turned into, the Mamba mentality. And Kobe was just different as far as work ethic, we all know. But with Michael Jordan, it was, I will not lose. It's not, I'm not going to, I will not lose. And he got some criticism for that. He's even lost some friends because of that. But he's a great businessman. I checked the other day shoe sales with Michael Jordan, and he's still blowing away every current NBA player. LeBron James, my other guest, Steph Curry, James Harden, Kevin Durant. I mean, he's just still, Jordan shoes are blowing every other shoe out of the water. I would invite Michael Jordan over to my house without a question. And by the way, also, he's just an interesting individual. And so the last person I invite, so if you notice, all the people I've invited are still with us, thankfully. The next person, the final person I'll invite of the 5, is no longer with us, hasn't been for quite a while. But I'd invite President Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president. I mean, you want to talk about overcoming. Yes, Steph overcame a famous family name. He was called soft, ankle injuries. That's tough, obviously, no question about it. Not trying to shortchange him at all. Steve Harvey grew up humble beginnings. Sigourney Weaver, overlooked for years until she got her first breakout role. Michael Jordan, overlooked. Drafted 3rd overall in 1984. But how about the entire country being at war with itself? Does it get any more difficult than that? I mean, this is this right here, it's a good picture of Lincoln. He's distinguished as usual. He got the bow tie. But if you look at pictures of Lincoln days before he was tragically assassinated, the war took a toll on him. He's the only president who the only major, it wasn't really a political issue, but the only major issue they suffered through and had to lead the country through was the country being at war with itself. Obviously, the Gettysburg Address is one of the greatest speeches that any American president has ever given. I would invite Abraham Lincoln over to pick his brain about what was it like to lead the country through, some would argue, its darkest or one of its darkest times. When at the time, people who were black were bought and sold as property. And he had to direct the country through that. When previous presidents, I'm a big presidential historian. I'm just fascinated by this stuff. But the previous few presidents before him, Millard Fillmore, Franklin Pierce, James Buchanan, hastened the coming of the Civil War. They allowed slavery to continue. And what Abraham Lincoln said, a house divided against itself cannot stand. And it's not okay for our fellow citizens to be considered 3/5 human or to be bought and sold as if they're property. And so Abe Lincoln, hey, if you could resurrect somebody from the dead and I could have someone over to my house, it'd probably be Abraham Lincoln. So here's my list. I'm not backing down from it. Steph Curry, Steve Harvey, Sigourney Weaver, Michael Jordan, and Abraham Lincoln. Those 5 are coming over to my house. Again, this picture right here, this is not my my dining table. It's a beautiful table, though. I'm not even going to lie. But that's who come over to my house.